Welcome to our latest podcast, Who Viewed My Profile podcast.com, where you can check out our previous podcasts, and you can also register and ask questions for our events coming up, which are basically me and Adam talking about anything you want to do about LinkedIn itself, and you can leave your questions here on this website here. But today we're going to go deep into vanity metrics and real opportunity, and also talk about the 360 Brew algorithm, the changes it means to content. So Adam, can you summarize the 360 Brew algorithm for our viewers and listeners when it comes to content?
Well, yeah, I'm glad you put that, because summarize our entire
just
algorithm, we could be here all day. But yeah, just if we stick just to the content side of it, So 360 Brew is really designed to elevate the content of your content creators that are thought leader level, and that's actually the term LinkedIn used. Personally, I find it's a little bit overused, but we call them iconic identities, but thought leader is what LinkedIn likes to use. So it's really about, making sure that we're all seeing the type of content that we all like. And if you had a room full, we were at an event last night, a bunch of people there, and talked to a few people. Everybody had a different point of view as to what was ideal to them, and that's understandable. So that's what 360 Brew is designed to do. It's designed to give you the content in your feed that you like, and mine, and each everyone else, whatever it is they like, relative to how they engage on that content. So in simple terms, it means that it's high quality content. That now, high quality does not mean necessarily that it was or wasn't generated through AI. You can use AI, but I'm saying you can use it for the research, ideation, framework, not the actual written content at the end of the day, because it becomes very obvious that it's AI generated. So by all means use it, but use it in the right way. And really the key differentiator is, does it have your unique point of view on whatever the topics are that you want to talk about? And on a earlier episode, you were talking about how you have 4 major pillars of content, and that's perfect. That's exactly what 360 Brew wants. It wants you to have up to 4 topics that you talk about. But when you're talking about any one topic, it's just about that topic. You're not jumping from one to the next in the same post, that type of thing.
And when it comes to, for example, metrics, what matters more, Adam? Is it likes? Is it views? Is it comments? Can you set the record straight here?
Yeah, so very interesting. In the pre-360 Brew era, likes were a big thing. That's why there were all these shitty services around that you could subscribe to, but you could really tell. You could see somebody posted 10 minutes ago and it's got 350 likes. Like, that doesn't happen. So anyway, that it's taken that out. It's made likes the lowest level of value. What interesting is, number one, is when people save your content, and the idea being that if someone's saving your content, means they want to come back and read it at a time when they've got time to really digest it. So saves is number one.
I still find that very hard to believe. I mean, we're testing it, and I've tested it, and I don't see any difference to basically saves on my posts versus comments. What I find, I do find a difference. I find if my post gets comments, and all my posts are designed to get comments, the post will go viral. And it makes no difference whether people have saved it or not in terms of the amount of views or engagement it gets. So I'm not sure how many people would save some of my content. I mean, in the best world in the world, let's say my content's fantastic, everything, but I'm not sure that people are going to save it to read later, partly because it's actually quite readable within 30 seconds. So I'm not people going, I'm going to save Chris's content for later. It's like, well, why would you do that? And is it like remember all the old video services where you used to be able to record programs on your TV and then never watch them? Is it like that? People are saving it and then they never actually read it?
It's up to the individuals, isn't it? But the information put out by LinkedIn is, and my understanding is that a post now can actually get a 3-week lifespan.
Yeah.
So what it's about is what activates it to get 3-week lifespan. Now, a save is immediate, means it's going to get 3 weeks. No, just straight out of the can. It's got 3 weeks, as opposed to the next level, which is like you said, is people actually commenting on it, engaging on it. So when they do that, then if you get enough of that in a short period of time, which is why, as you've mentioned, you've got to be writing local to, but you get your viral reach as a secondary measure. So likes become the minimal sort of that.
So when it comes to engagement, there's people out there who are worried about the level of engagement. Is it possible that you can have low engagement content that actually achieves your objectives?
Well, to a degree. So it's not so much about necessarily high or low level of engagement. It also comes down to quality of engagement. So if you get people that are, and again, comes back to what LinkedIn was trying to wipe out, was these engagement pods and things that would put on these terrible kind of like says, thanks for sharing, or nice post, or all that rubbish. So that's deemed now to be a non-comment. What it actually values is we call it the 15-second rule. Should actually call it a guideline, not a rule. Sorry, a 15-word rule, not a second. What that means is a 1 or 2 sentence sort of comment on a post is valued much more than a short, sort of 3 or 4 word version of it. So the idea is more about getting the quality of engagement than quantity of engagement.
But success looks different for every different person, doesn't it? And that comes down to the right audience. I mean, connection strategy, again, plays a lot of part in this. I mean, for example, my strategy is I would only connect with you if you're a founder across the whole world. So I'm sorry if you try and connect with me and you're not a founder in other places, or if you're a resident of Singapore. So if you're a resident of Singapore and I can see you in Singapore, you can obviously help my algorithm by commenting on my post, for example. And I will always prioritize people who comment on my post or the people who basically don't. And in fact, if you don't comment on my post or don't even like it, don't even engage, you're more at risk of being removed from my connections because you're no use to me basically just viewing, because I want you to comment. If you're not comment, I fail to engage with you, or you don't want to comment. Either way, if you're not a founder, then I can't help you and you can't help me. So I do think you have to be quite ruthless and not just think, oh, I've got millions of connections or followers, and make sure, are they valuable to you? There's a reason why I get more comments, for example, anyone else in Singapore, despite the fact I only have a small amount of followers. I mean, 70,000 followers is not a lot. There are people in Singapore with millions. There are people basically, with hundreds of thousands who get many more likes than I do because they work for big companies. But the thing is, they don't get comments because their content is boring. So I specialize in trying to get a conversation, because that to me is what social media is all about, social. So success to me as a founder is targeting and engaging other founders and executives who might ultimately want to buy our services or recommend our services. Ultimately, none of us are doing this for charity. We're all doing this to, as you said yesterday, put food on our table and put a roof over us. So how do you make sure as a viewer or listener here, you get the quality people engaging with your content?
I think, like you said, ruthlessness as far as I've like one thing I always talk about is being very, very ruthless in inbound connections.
Yes.
So people sending you connection requests as opposed to, because you can completely control outbound, as in your especially if you're using Sales Navigator and you're very strategic in how you create or curate those lists. Super easy to control that.
Yeah.
What I get all the time is people saying, or clients saying, "Oh, I've got all these people wanting to connect with me," and the more I'm commenting, the more I'm engaging, the more I've got these inbound, which is a great thing. However, just because somebody's wanting to connect with you, you've got to do, like you said, and I think it comes very well down into your 1-9-90 sort of process as
absolutely.
well. So maybe, I know we've talked about it on another episode, but just quickly, you want to just give everyone a
1-9-90 is all about only 1% of people on LinkedIn bother posting. 1%. Literally 1%. So if you are posting, you literally become the 1% straight away. LinkedIn then go, fantastic. And if you then put it into your featured section, which is very important, or your newsletter, LinkedIn then activates it and then propels it, and other people can then see it as a result. And that's absolutely key, because LinkedIn needs people to be posting to sell advertising, which is obviously how they make most of their money. So it is really important, but it's also important to get the 9% who are people who like and comment. Very, very important, because there'll always be 90% of people, because LinkedIn is a professional platform, there'll always be people who said, I can't post, I can't like, I can't comment because my boss can see it, or my founders can see it, or my employees can see it. I don't want to offend them, or I don't want them to see this. So they're always going to have that. But we entrepreneurs and leaders and CEOs and executives, we can post and should be posting on a regular basis, because that is key to how you have success on LinkedIn.
There you go. And of course, there's the other part of that 90 where they're just too damn lazy to do anything. So.
And they're just going like this, but they're just scrolling through, aren't they?
Yeah, sitting in the bathroom, just killing some time. So what is, in your eyes, like what does success look like as far as, like we're talking about, opportunity.
Yeah.
So we've got vanity metrics. We've talked about what they are, what little value they have anymore. But it's all about creating opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, opportunity is different for everyone.
Absolutely.
But how in your world does your content go? So we forget about all the vanity metrics. Doesn't matter whether this post went viral or it didn't, or this video was designed to do something on its own or as part of an overall strategy. At the end of the day, it's all about, like you said, inbound leads or new clients. How do you structure that for your clients?
So I look specifically, and we do this for our clients, specifically at how we can attract their ICP, their ideal customer profile, to their profile, and hopefully to read their smart link. But if they view their profile, we can tell who they are. Like with mine, for example, my content's designed to get you to come to my profile. Then I can basically reach out to you with my smart link, which we covered in a previous episode of this podcast. And then I can actually track to see if you're interested in our services. And that's absolutely key. If I get a post going viral and I look the next day about who viewed my profile and none of those people were founders, I failed. Because I don't want vanity metrics for the sake of it, because I can't pay my bills based on that. But I need those people who are founders or entrepreneurs to then view my profile and then hopefully view my smart link, and then hopefully have a meeting with me or go ahead with our service. So it's the same with our clients. Our clients need their ICP to view their profile after viewing their content. But the biggest catalyst to do that is content. You can't do just basically have a whole strategy around social selling purely based on outreach, because it won't work. You've got to do content. And then someone says, I saw your post, Adam. That's fantastic. And now let's see your profile. Oh, what do you do, Adam? Oh, you do this LinkedIn marketing. Fantastic. I need a LinkedIn marketing service. And there is a strategy and a funnel to it. So if you miss off the content side, you don't get the benefit of the other side. And that's really, really key. But some people aren't prepared to do the hard work of creating the content in the first place. And then they go, well, LinkedIn doesn't work. I don't get any leads. It's like, but you don't post. So your profile's incomplete, which we covered in the previous podcast. But fundamentally, you can get away with a half-done profile if you're producing daily content. If you don't do content and you have a half-complete profile, you ain't going to get any leads. You might as well stop doing LinkedIn now.
Yeah, there you go. And that leads into a very interesting, when we're talking about metrics, and as you just mentioned, you're looking at, the post and is it being seen by your ICP?
Yeah.
There, again, an interesting thing with 360 Brew is, and we've talked about this multiple times now, is that your post can live for up to 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And so the thing is, when often we get now, because it used to be much quicker that you would get that metric on the content, and people will say, oh, I'm not getting any, my numbers are down, what's going on? I said, well, how long ago did you post?
Yeah.
Oh, hours ago.
Yeah.
It's like, okay. So the reality is, when you're viewing what you're talking about, your ICP on your, what we're talking about is you can open up every post now and you can see like what industry these people from, where are they located, really good data on every single post. And I actually believe it's, even if you're on a free account, not that we ever recommend that, but you can see that. So you got to actually look at that 3 weeks. Yeah, not saying you should be looking at it each day, but as far as making decisions, look at each post 3 weeks after it's posted. Then it's got its full life. Then it's got its full value as far as who viewed my profile or who viewed my content and that type of thing.
And I do think the myth of the golden hour has gone as well. I mean, I'm not sure if you agree with me on this, but I've noticed that some of my posts, for example, at the weekend, I did some posts I thought were going to go viral, and they were getting like, they got a few views, and then basically, no, I'll wait. And then an hour later, I get a few hundred. Then it got up to 1,000. Then by the end of the night, the next day, it was up to 10,000. Then basically it had gone viral overnight. But it took some time to do it. So the first couple of hours, it made basically, I thought, oh no, it's failed. I thought this post was going to do really, really well. But like you said, you have to be patient. You can't expect it overnight. And it's still going viral now. Like a week later, I'm having to go back and still answer the comments, which are like, is the bugbear of my team, because I'm always having to go at my team, say, why haven't you answered this comment from a week ago? It's like, people still commenting on this post for our client. Now it's a week later. That's the idea of the algorithm now. Basically, people will see it like a week later and then comment. And then you have to answer that comment to keep the viral, the momentum going as well. That's absolutely key. And many people miss out by not answering comments, Adam. And I don't understand why people don't answer comments. To me, it's basic politeness. If someone's bothered to actually put a comment on there, which again is only 9% of people on LinkedIn like and comment, 9%, you want to keep those people and get them to comment on your next post. That's why I always connect with people who comment, because I want them. They're gold, because they will make all my posts go viral. And just like you get rid of people who don't do that because they're not any good to you. So I do think you need to answer comments. You need to have a system in place, Adam, to actually answer comments on a long-term basis, not just on the day it's been posted.
That's right. And to come back to the concept of the golden hour, just to explain that a little better for people, it used to be that you needed to get a certain amount of traction. It was actually 2 hours, but they just called it the golden hour. And so the point is now, does it still have value or not? I believe it still does, but not in the way it used to. So what you need now is you need that little bit of local engagement in that period. That if you get that local engagement, which we've talked about again in other episodes, then that's what allows the when people come online in other countries or whatever, that's why your post keeps growing and growing, because it's now getting shown in their feeds at the time of day that they're active. And so that's why this 3-week rule kind of is in play. And we've got so many different time zones in the world these days. People are as you've shared many times, Zurich is a great market for you, but time zone wise compared to here in Singapore,
6 hours away.
It's a long way away. Compare it. Let's say your market was in say the UK, then you've got a ridiculous level of 10 hours or something. If you're in Australia, it's 12 hours. It's just insane. But as long as you get that initial bit of attraction, which is why, as you said, you've got to write local to go global. Then that's where the golden hour concept still kind of has a little bit of a
And then, I know this is an ongoing question, Adam, but how many times do you think that people should post a week?
Well, I always say the minimum is 3. So and there's many, it's proven many times over that this concept, it used to be prior to 360 Brew that often if you posted multiple times a day, it could be problematic because one post would cannibalize the reach of the next and that type of thing. But that no longer is in play. What really matters now is if it's quality, high value content, it's staying within one of your 4 pillars, then it will still get, it definitely can still get, a long life. Also, I think there's a degree, if the more you post, the shorter you should make your posts. Otherwise, you're just overwhelming people with content. It's also very difficult to write that much content. So I don't think there is a sweet spot as far as there's many different people, different industries say, like you get very good content, good engagement on weekends and public holidays. Other industries would get crickets on those days. So
what do you think? Often we have clients, and I'm sure you do too, people say, oh, I can't post 3 times a week. I know I bought this service, but I wanted to do it down by 2 times a week because one of my friends said I'm posting too much. It's like, but your friends are not your target audience unless they're going to pay for your food and your bed. It's like you can't post too often for me because most of the people who follow me don't see all my posts. Because unless they're on LinkedIn every single minute of every single day, they're not going to see my posts. So they see some of my posts. And the algorithm will just serve them certain posts and not other posts because that's where the algorithm actually works across all social media. So you can't post too much, and you shouldn't take into account what your friends tell you about how many times you post. That is not a commercial marketing strategy.
Yeah, very, very, very true. And again, the interesting thing comes down to a lot of people who are using professional professional copywriters
Yeah.
or services like ours, and they'll show it to their family or
Yeah.
friends who know them intimately. And they say, that doesn't sound like you. But of course, they're not writing for
Yeah.
the people who know them intimately. And we've proven this many, many times over 12, 14 years that professionally written copy will outperform your own written content if it's not designed and the right
Spot
way.
on, yeah.
So big takeaway: don't take too much notice of
Your
family
family
and friends.
And we have an event coming up, Adam, don't we?
We do. So live event. When I say live, it's online, but love the format of this. So you guys get to ask what's the topic's going to be about, instead of us just like now we're formatting information for you, but you guys can tell us what it is you want to talk about, and that's what the whole event will be about.
I look forward to it. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching.